So, good morning again, dear EMA members and partners. Ahlan wa sahlan. Please allow me in my function as Secretary General of the EMA to wish you all a warm welcome and express my joy to host this online seminar today, despite the closure of borders. It is my utmost pleasure and honor to welcome today Her Excellency Hanene Tajouri Bessassi, the newly arrived designate ambassador of Tunisia to Germany. Your Excellency, we are so glad to welcome you here in Berlin. And we are looking very much forward as well to your speech today and to our collaboration in the near future. This online event is hosted by EMA and TIA and was supposed to take place on site at the Electronica trade fair. But as you all know, we make the best of the current situation and thus we are now here. Our event takes place also in partnership with FIPA, AHK Tunisia and Elentica, and with the great support of GIZ Tunisia. I want to thank you all very much for your cooperation and would like to stress my sincere gratitude for our joint efforts of promoting Tunisian-German cooperation. I already have given this instruction about Zoom, just I remind you again, please switch off your microphones if you are not speaking. And unless the speakers, please switch also off your videos. In the Q&A part, you may, of course, show up and raise your questions and show your faces. Also, if you could also make sure that you write your names or your companies, institutions, so that we don't have in our participants list iPad 1 and phone number 2. This would also be perfect in order to have a little bit transparency about who has joined this meeting. We received a lot of valuable questions before with our registrations, and we have shared the questions with the respective speakers. So the speakers will make sure to answer already many of them during their interventions, but we will also make sure that you will be given some time to raise more questions or comments in the end. And therefore, we have a rich program. I would like to ask you all for your patience with me. As a moderator, I will have to stick a little bit to the time frame, and I would like to invite our speakers to also stick to the time we agreed for your slot. Shukran jazilan and dankeschön for your participation. It is so hard in those days of online seminars to participate. I know this myself, but it's just a very pleasure to welcome you all here, and the topic of today is an important one. So now I would like to give the floor to the designate ambassador. Dear Excellency, Mrs. Tajouri Bessassi, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. Guten Morgen, good morning everyone. Madam Secretary General, Mr. President of the Tunisia Investment Authority, Mr. General Director of AHK Tunis, dear attendees and attendees, good morning. It's really a great pleasure and a honor for me to be with you today. Actually, it's my first official contribution as the new Tunisian designate ambassador to Germany. I would like to warmly thank TIA, EMA and their associates, AHK Tunis and FIPA, first for initiating this virtual gathering, second for the wise choice of timing. It's matched with the new post-COVID tendencies for reshoring, and third for the relevance of the topic. In fact, electronics industry is a flourishing strategic sector in Tunisia. We count 434 companies operating in this sector, which represents 28% of the total Tunisian export, with a 22% national added value contribution in 2019. Besides, I would like to avail myself of this opportunity to give a brief overview of the Tunisian-German relations and their perspectives. It goes without saying that Tunisia has been a long-standing but rather ordinary partner of Germany since the establishment of the diplomatic in 1957. But in the wake of the Tunisian Revolution of January 2011, Tunisia quickly gained in priority for Germany, which swiftly reinforced its support to Tunisia in all the fields. And we very much appreciate this valuable assistance. Actually, at the political fields, a new dynamic was observed mainly through the high-level contacts and visit exchange. At the economic level, Germany is mentioned as a critical actor in Tunisia. The technical and financial assistance allocated to Tunisia was considerably increased and reached about 300 million euro per year between grants and loans, comparing to around only 40 million euro before the revolution. So Germany is also ranked as the third foreign investor with the 5% of the total FDI without energy. However, I believe that it's now critical to upgrade our bilateral relation to a higher level with a more strategic dimension. It's the appropriate time for both sides to reaffirm their commitment to confer on their bilateral relations more depth and a sense of purpose, and to explore also new paths for a win-win strategic partnership driven by shared values based on further concrete program and oriented towards tangible results and outcomes. And for this purpose, we need not only a political endorsement, but also we are looking forward to closely work with the civil society and the private sector through a constructive and comprehensive dialogue in order to provide together an ambition, but also at the same time an efficient shape and content of this strategic partnership. And Madam Secretary General, if you allow me, I would like also seize this occasion to say a few words about Tunisia assets as a privileged destination for the FDI. Actually, Tunisia has many assets, but I would only so I have many assets to be an attractive and assured destination to FDI in several promising and strategic sector, such as electronics sector, the topic of our today webinar. But I will only mention a few assets because I guess Mr. Ben Sultan will detail these assets in his remarks. So let's start first by the geographical proximity, then the vibrant private sector, the social acquis, the important human capital, but above all, a wide disposition for compromising and consensus funding. And shortly, we will also listen to some success stories in order to encourage the German business community, mainly operating in the electronic sector, to come and invest in Tunisia. And I can assure you that all the official Tunisian official efforts in synergy with all the stakeholders are focused on modernizing the economic sectors, increasing the economic competition, improving the general business climate, and developing public-private partnerships. The main objects is restoring confidence in Tunisia as a destination for foreign investors, but also offering hope to the Tunisian youth to visibly consider their future and have the opportunities to fulfill their ambitions. In conclusion, I would like just to highlight that we are well aware that all our friends and partners, including Germany, are also facing tremendous challenges and different types of internal pressures, mainly because of the corona pandemic. Nevertheless, we firmly believe that these additional worries imposed by the coronavirus may be smartly converted into opportunities, and that only investment is able to implement them, because it remains the main source of development. And Secretary General, that's all I wanted to share with you, and I apologize if it was a little bit long. And thank you for your attention, and I hope all the success for the webinar. Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for your words. They were perfectly on time. I am really confident that the German-Tunisian diplomatic relations are in very good hands, and we are so glad to welcome you in Germany. Our inaugural visit will be will be implemented later. It's so nice that you accepted to be here today with us, despite that you are just designate and you will start to work here in a few days. Thank you so much. I believe you will stay with us for some questions and answers, and to get to know also more about our partners and members. Now I am very happy to give the floor to my co-host of today's online seminar, the President of the Tunisian Investment Authority, Mr. Belir Ben Solchan. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Clara, for the introduction. Good to see you again. Dear speakers, attendees, good morning, and welcome to our webinar today. First, congratulations, dear Designate Ambassador, on your recent appointment, and wish you every success in your new duties. I'm sure that you will serve our country incredibly, especially in this very important position, which is our embassy in Germany, one of the most important partners in the world. A very deserved position, and wish you again best of luck in what I'm sure will be a great success. The objective of this webinar, as Clara has already mentioned, is to set up an exchange, platform between the economic partners of the two countries, and to create such a dynamic aimed at increasing the flow of trade and investment. Tunisia, as you all know, remains a lovely place to visit and a lovely place to do business. It has a diverse market-oriented economy with very important business potential and opportunities in electronics and other activities. Coupled, of course, with the strong assets and factors of competitiveness, namely its proximity and free access to major markets, mainly the EU, our major trading and investment partner. So over 75% of our trade, as well as investment, is with the EU. It's indeed strategically located to serve European, Middle East, and African markets, thanks to the existing free trade agreements in place. At the end of the day, it's a combined market of, I'd say, over 1 billion consumers. So German companies need to consider Tunisia as a regional platform to base their facilities, serve the EU and other markets, and benefit from the short lead times. As you know, Clara, shipping time to mainland Europe is only 2 to 4 days. Secondly, Tunisia has a large pool of talents. Most Tunisians are well educated and strongly motivated. There is no language barriers, as most Tunisians may speak more than 2 languages. Most foreign companies based here are run by Tunisians, including the German companies. Our young talents as well are technology hungry, so with a strong readiness to adaptation to the new technology developments. So this is one of the strongest points of Tunisia. Cost-wise, Tunisia offers as well better quality at the best labor costs, compared to other locations worldwide. My colleague Abir will certainly expand on this later on with more detailed information and benchmarks in this respect. Thirdly, I'd say Tunisia is also known for its favorable business environment. So Tunisia has been open for business since early 1970s. So some of the existing German companies have been here, based here in Tunisia for over 4 decades, and they are still reinvested. So this is very important to mention, I would say. Today, we are very proud to mention that over 3,600 international brands are operating and expanding their activities in Tunisia. The reason why they are still here, or they are continuing to invest and reinvest, is very simple. They are flourishing and making profits in a welcoming business environment. Investment is free. There is no restriction on foreign ownership in manufacturing industries. International businesses have also the right to hold up to 100% of their capital. They can freely transfer profits and capital as well, and they are eligible to a wide set of incentives, depending, of course, on a certain number of economic priorities. Intellectual property protection is here. It's guaranteed, by domestic laws and international treaties, which is very and of a paramount importance, to any company willing to exchange on terms of the protection of data and so on. Last but not least, I would say that our organization, Tunisia Investment Authority, acts as a facilitator, with respect to doing business in Tunisia. And it's considered as a single point of contact with the objective to support businesses thanks to our digital platform, which is tia.gov.tn. And this is during all stages of the investment journey, from e-registration, legal incorporation, obtaining licenses, identifying the right talents and the right plot of land or premises, providing incentives, and of course, customer care services when needed. I'm sure you will be hearing directly, from other speakers today on their stories, related to doing business, and from my colleague again, Abir, with respect to Tunisia's value proposition for the electronic sector, and we will be happy to answer any question that they may have. So I'll stop here. Thank you so much, Clara, and over to you.
Thank you, Bilir. I think we will also have a rich presentation about the TIA services and more information about the electronics opportunities in Tunisia. But let me now give a warmly welcome to Dr. Jan Bousselmi, the Director General of the AHK Tunisia. It's always a pleasure to collaborate, and we are looking very forward to your contribution and your insights on the current situation in Tunis and the country. Thank you so much. Your microphone, please.
C'est ouvert? It's open? Alles klar. I'm sorry. Thank you, Clara, for the invitation. Her Excellency, welcome to Berlin also, dear Belik. So I think Belik said a lot. For us at AHK, as the official representative of the German economy, we are here also more than 40 years with more than 40 employees. And I have to say something about the German representative of companies here in Tunisia. So in fact, there are 250 companies in the different sectors, 150 roundabout in the industrial production sector. The rest are service providers, IT, and commercial entities. I think the main topic, electronic and automotive sectors here, they are key sectors, as Belik mentions well, and some of our members will give you more details and insight about the opportunities, the real opportunities, and I think Tunisia offers real opportunities for this sector, and it's a real chance also to look for the new nearshoring questions and also to extend or to secure the supply chain management. The electronic sector is also well represented in our chamber. We have more than 60 companies as members in this field. So it's also proves that it's a very interesting sector, and you have always the possibility to exchange and to have a real insight, practical insights with our members. So don't hesitate to contact us also. And we are in close cooperation, of course, also of Atlantica, of TIA, FIPA, and in projects also with EMA. So I think you have to look more from the practical side. You need some time perhaps for the implementation, but it's a real opportunity to come to Tunisia. And also in the automotive electronical sector, it's not only from low labor cost, but it's also, as mentioned by Belik, high qualified people in the IT sector. And I think the whole change into electric vehicle, more and more software in cars, and the whole sector of mechatronic, you will find here huge opportunities from good skills at reasonable costs. And for us, it's one of the main sectors here in Tunisia, the electronic and the IT sector and the automotive sector. And I'm pleased to work together with all our partners hereby. And I think it's very interesting to know what are now the extensions, the investments, because in this sector we have already, as I know, more than 50 extensions, more than 15 investments. Even the situation of the sanitary situation is not so easy, but there's a lot of investment in the sector, and it's a proof of the possibilities offered by Tunisia. So I think for my side, it will be all, because it's more interesting to know what are doing really our members, our member companies, as Drexelmeier, and the other ones will tell us later a little more insights. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jörn, for your insights. And as we can see in this high-ranking panel, we see already or detected already a lot of opportunities. So let's give now the floor to the presentation of Mrs. Abia Shawwahi, Chief of Section at Tunisian Investment Authority, about Tunisia value proposition in the electronics sector. Please share your screen with us.
Thank you, Clara, for the introduction, and thank you for all the attendees. I will be sharing the presentations to go through all major factors driving the competitiveness of Tunisia in electronics industry. So the first key assets is, with no doubt, the key geographical position. Tunisia is a North African country located at the junction of the eastern and western basin of the Mediterranean, and with only 140 kilometers from Europe. With this distance, Tunisia has a central position in the Euromed zone. Tunisia also enjoys from developed infrastructure with multiple passengers connections and international airports and commercial ports that allows and facilitate continued supply chain and facilitate business transactions. Added to the geographical positions, Tunisia also is a door to the other markets, as Tunisia enjoys from several trade agreements with more than 100 countries, which is leading the country to be a gateway to Europe and sub-Saharan Africa market, and give access to more than 1.85 billion consumers. The third major asset that makes Tunisia attractive for businesses and especially for electronics sector is the friendly business environment. Actually, during the past few years, Tunisia is aiming to facilitate investment through improved and simplified procedures, as well as a comprehensive and a clear investment framework. And these efforts was recognized through the international ranking, since Tunisia is ranked 19th among 100 countries in terms of starting a business. The investment framework in Tunisia is based on 5 pillars. Equal and fair treatment for both local and international investors, protection of intellectual property, the reinforcement of the principle of freedom of transfer of funds and profits, the freedom also of land ownership for the implementation of investment projects, and also the possibilities for international companies to recruit up to 30% of foreign executives during the first 10 years. So, what makes Tunisia attractive for the business and for especially electronics companies is the maturity of the electronics sector in Tunisia, a thriving sector with more than 4 companies operating in the sector according to the statistics of 2020, out of which we have 234 that are international companies, and all these companies are employing over than 120,000 employees. With approximately rate of 20% of white collars, and this rate is above the Tunisian industry national average, actually. The sector is the production of this sector is mostly oriented to the international market. It's 67%.
Is it only me, or cannot? Is Abir mute? Abir?
No, it's on mute. I cannot hear.
Okay. Can my colleague please make sure Abir is still? She's mute. Abir? Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but your screen is not shared anymore.
Okay.
Perfect.
Is it okay?
You can continue, please.
So, okay, thank you. So, as I said, the sector is oriented totally to the international markets, and 67% of the companies are operating exclusively on international markets, with the main destination France as the main destination, followed by Italy and Germany. This sector also is done well in terms of economics value added, as in 1918, the amount exports of this sector is it represents 28% of total Tunisian exports, and has over 3.7 billion euro, with an annual growth rate of 13.6%, and which makes it contributing to 2% of the national added value. So, deep look to the electronic sector in Tunisia shows that we have a widely developed ecosystem with a wide range of national and international companies operating in the various segments of the electronic value chain, since the companies cover the branches of wiring systems, energy and clean tech, PCB and circuit carriers, power supplies and lighting, and Internet of Things. So the major players are positioned in all these segments, and thanks to these major players, Tunisia is offering basic electronics products, but also products with high value added. So, what makes Tunisia attractive for business in general, and especially in electronics sector, is the qualification and the skills of its pool of talent. So Tunisia has also counted a lot on education, with more than 260,000 students enrolled in universities, including more than 54,000 in engineering and technical fields, with the focus on STEM curricular. In point of fact, according to the UNESCO Institute for Statistics, tertiary students in Tunisia are most likely to graduate in STEM, with more than 43% of students receiving a degree in those subjects. So, with the main 5 educational hubs and more than 16,000 educational and training centers spread over the whole country, Tunisia is counting a lot on the education system in order to better address the needs of all the industry and for the electronic sector in particular. So, added to the quality of skills and the education, Tunisia also relies on its labor cost competitiveness, since Tunisia is well positioned in terms of labor cost competitiveness according to the major international index. Tunisian engineering is 30% lower cost than an European engineer, and adding to the competitiveness of the costs, the Tunisian labor force is also enjoying the availability, So according to the international ranking, Tunisia has a score of 45.5% in terms of availability of talent addressing the needs of the sector. And in terms as a potential or company that has a plan to expand its business in the electronic sector in Tunisia, you may be asking to what extent the labor cost in Tunisia will remain competitive. So, according the international ranking, the annual growth, annual growth of labor costs over the period 2020-2024 won't exceed 9% in Tunisia, which is 40% lower than the main Eastern European country and North African countries. Last but not least, what Tunisia could provide to investors in electronics sector. So it's the industrial infrastructure. Since Tunisia is working on preparing and enhancing furthermore its industrial sites offer with an industrial area with modern facilities spreading through all the country in order to provide show-ready sites for businesses in electronics sector. Also, the industrial infrastructures includes business parks with very strong links between research, innovation, and promotion of technology transfer and high added value. We have like 5 business parks specialized in each sectors, and we have like innovation city, which is with more focus on business, on electronics industries, and provide a modern and developed infrastructures dedicated to this sector. So finally, these all assets and these factors of competitiveness are also reinforced by the wide range of incentives provided in the framework of the investment law. These financial and tax incentives may be enhance the expanding activities in these sectors in terms of that they cover priority sectors, and electronic sectors is one of these priority sectors, and also electronics projects that will be implemented in regional development area may benefit from financial and tax incentives that could help the companies to reduce their cost of investments and to be supported by the government during the first years of their project implementation. So finally, we stay here to facilitate the success of your investment, to support you during your investment journey, and to respond to any questions you may have before the decision making and once you decided to implement your project in Tunisia. Thank you.
Thank you, Abir. Unfortunately, although I raised my voice, you couldn't hear me. The slides have not been turning properly, but I have good news that we agreed beforehand with the TIA that we will share the slides with all participants in the aftermath. So you will get the full documentation, and we're still here also for your questions. And many interesting things have been already mentioned, and now we would like also to have some insights from a practical point of view. And I'm very glad that you took your time, Mr. Steffen Jürgens. Oh no, I'm sorry, I skipped an important part too. That is a compliment to this presentation, which is Mrs. Saida Kahuli from FIPA Cologne. So you're based in Cologne and you represent the FIPA, and you will give a short overview of the German FDI in Tunisia.
Okay, thank you, Clara. I will share my presentation. Yeah, it's okay. Good morning again, everyone. Your Excellency, our partner in Germany and Tunisia, thank you for organizing this webinar. It's a pleasure to participate, to give some insight on German FDI in Tunisia. The statistics are provided excluding the sector of energy. Tunisia is considered as a competitive investment destination for many international actors from all over the world, and especially from Europe. More than 3,400 companies have chosen to invest in Tunisia, employing more than 386,000 people. 75 of the companies are wholly exporting, especially to European Union, thanks to the strategic position of Tunisia, which is very close, of course, to Europe. FDI flows are constantly increasing over the years to reach almost 2,500 dinars. A large of companies contributed to maintain a positive evolution of FDI flows because they trust Tunisia side, which offers a favorable business environment. Concerning the sectoral distribution of FDIs in Tunisia, manufacturing sector contributes with 52% to the FDI, especially electronics, electrical, mechanical, and automotive components. In second position, FDI in services represent 83% of the investment. Then we have tourism and agriculture. If we focus on Germany, Germany is considered as a strategic partner for Tunisia. It's in the top 3 in terms of investment and in terms of number of companies, and with 279 companies, and in terms of employment with more than 70,000 jobs, and 80% of the companies are wholly exporting. In electronics industry, we have 4 companies, German companies, and employing more than 44,000 people. 44,000 people, and the majority of the German companies in electronics are developing their activities in Tunisia, from production to innovation, research and development, such as Drexelmeier, Lioni, Kronbeck and Schubert, and because Tunisia is positioning itself as a center of excellence, thanks to the high skilled human resource with a very competitive costs, Tunisia industry combine production and innovation and offer to German companies many business opportunities. For example, the Audi Q6 e-tron, the 100% electrical vehicle, is equipped with wiring manufactured in Tunisia by Leoni, who is the first private employer in Tunisia, and is considered as a success story, and is operating in Tunisia since 1977. And you know that promoting investment is a priority for the Tunisian government, and that's why FIPA, as a public institution and with the supervision of the Ministry of Economy, Finance and Investment Support, is present all over the world, with many offices abroad in Paris, Milan, Londres, UK, Madrid, and Cologne. And it's the first foreign investor interlocutor. For FIPA Tunisia offers support to the foreign investor, and of course, specifically German investors in Cologne, in Germany. So our mission is to inform on investment opportunities in Tunisia, and the main reason why Tunisia is considered as a competitive investment destination. We advise also on the appropriate condition of the success of projects, regions of operation, investment plans. We do also follow-up and aftercare for the investor on exploratory visits to Tunisia and in the various phases of project implementation. And of course, we support to improve the sustainability of the company through personalized monitoring and facilitation services. Just, I would like to mention that our office in Germany is based in Cologne. I am the manager of the office. I share here my contact details, of course, to all the attendees or to all the German investors and institutions and partners who are interested in developing investment and cooperation between Germany and Tunisia. Thank you very much. Of course, finally, all our services are free, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saida. Many greetings to Cologne.
Yeah.
You mentioned already that more than 70,000 jobs are by German companies, and we were mentioning also the quality and availability of the workforce, which are of course key for the electronic sector. And I'm very glad now to introduce to you Mr. Steffen Jürgens, who is head of operations at Drechselmeier in Tunisia. And Mr. Jürgens, I would like to invite you to talk about your long-lasting experience on especially the workforce in Tunisia and the Tunisian pool of talents. Thank you.
Okay, salam alaikum. I hope you can hear me. It's okay? Okay, super. Madam Saidi, first information from my side, Leoni was not the first private investor in Tunisia, was Drechselmeier. 3 years before Leoni was starting, 1977. We was in Tunisia 1974, only for the correct information.
Yeah, it was in 2018, that's why.
Okay. So, okay, thank you to share our short PowerPoint. I would like to inform you about the Drechselmeier Group in global and also what is our business in Tunisia. The next slide, please. So we are automobile supplier. We produce for 100 or more, like 100 premium car models for interior components, electric components, harnesses, and so on. The next slide, please. So our one slide back, please. So our business, our Drechselmeier business is the main business is for electrical component systems, like the harnesses for cars. But the second one is we produce also electronic and electrical components, for example, fuse box, and also all electrical switcher for battery cars, Also now the new business, which we like start in, but now only in Germany. We produce this low voltage and high voltage battery and battery systems. For example, for Porsche Macan, we build up now a new plant at Leipzig. Also, we start last year in Sachsenheim, a new plant to produce this battery systems for the new generation of electro cars. The next big business is our interior components, interior systems. We have also a plant in Tunisia for this one. And also we produce big components like, for example, cockpit modules, inclusive leather, for example, and all the instruments we build up or built in is, for example, in this cockpit, door panels and so on. Okay, let's going on to the next slide. Yes, please. We have a lot of plants. I believe now we have 72 or 71 plants around the world. Most of our plants in Europe. Also, we are in China and Americas, and also in Africa. A small plant in Egypt, a small plant in South Africa, and now we have 5 plants in Tunisia, which would like to explain in the next slides. So let's switch to Tunisia. In Tunisia, we are around about 10,000 employees now for Drechselmeier Group, which are working in Tunisia. We have now 5 plants in Tunisia, in Zeyana, one interior component plant in Sousse, also a big plant also in Sousse for electric components. We have a sub-supplier, MSPE. They produce only for us, also harnesses for Daimler. We have a big plant in El Chem, and now we build up a new plant in Shemal. The next slide, please. So this is what I said. We start 1974 here in Sousse, in Tunisia, in Sousse, for our first Drechselmeier business in Tunisia. And now we have, like I said, we have 5 plants in Tunisia for electric components, interior components, electronic components, for more than 10,000 employees. Now we produce interior and electric components, what I said. For example, electric components, harnesses for Audi Q3, Audi Q3, A3 Q3, BX8, it's engine harnesses. For BMW, also for VW Group, we produce for harnesses for Golf, Passat, Arteon, and now we have the ramp-up period for the new project from Volkswagen Caddy, and also reproduce the Lamborghini Aventador harnesses. Here in Sousse, it's not so much pieces. The Lamborghini produce between 5 and 7 cars per day. So here we can see our increasing development for employees. Now we reach this 10,000 employees, and when we start the new plant in Shemal in next or 2 days later, we would like to hire more than 2,000 or 3,000 employees. So we reach this more than 12,000 employees which are working for Drechselmeier in Tunisia in all our plants. Plus this around about 1,500 employees in one subcontractor. So let's have a look. What's also important for us, not only the production, we have started 2019 a new competence center for IT here in Sousse. Now they are working around about 70 or 75 employees only for IT. They make only also the IT business for Drechselmeier around the world, like this 7 and 24 hours support helplines and so on for all our production and companies in Drechselmeier worldwide. Step back, please, or slide back, please. So the next one I would like to present is also last year we started the Science Center also in Sousse. The Science Center, that means it's a development center that we develop also the harnesses components, electronic components here in Tunisia, not only in Germany. This design center, we would like to improve or increase this also in the next 2 years. And also important for us that we train our own people. The basic for this training is this dual training center, dual system. I believe you know it. It's this BBV, Bavarian system or German system. When you educate the employees or the people, they have 2 or 3 weeks in our plants and 2 or 3 weeks outside for theory. And after 3 years, you have good educated new employees. I hope not only for our plant, it's important for Tunisia. And it's working since 7 years, and it's a good system. Switch to the next slide, please. So now what I said, this year, 2020, now 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we start to develop our new plant in Shemal. And it would like to be finished, the first step, we would like to be finished end of May next year. And we would like to start to hire around about 3,000, 3,500 employees for this next, for this new plant. Shemal, it's near Monastir. And we have the contract from the supplier for Audi for this AQ5 and AQ6 is this new electro cars, Q5 and Q6. Also, the decision was done that we start next year to build up in Sousse in this area of Innovation City. Maybe you know it. So we buy now 10,000 square meter, and we build up a new development house, a hub house, to implement around about 600 new positions, new job for engineering, for technical. It's also important for us that we are ready in Tunisia for the next year for this business. And for example, also we spent a small hotel. We will build up next year in Siana, that we have a more comfortable situation for our leaders and visitors, which would like to visit our plant in Siana. And roundabout, we would like to recruit more than 5,000 new employees in the next years. Okay. Thank you. This is a short information about Drechselmeier in Tunisia.
Thank you, Stefan Jürgens, for this big overview. And it's really encouraging, I would say, to see the success story of your company and to see also the potential of, yes, creating great projects, not only in Tunis, but also in the whole of Tunisia. And yeah, we say that maybe IT one day may steal jobs from us, but at this moment, I would say it creates jobs. And this is also a new project the EMA has just started in November. It's about enhancing the IT decision makers in Tunisia. And we will let you know more about this project, and maybe we can create some win-win on this as well. Same thought I had is also that Tunisia has, and we could see it on your nice pictures, a lot more women in MINT than we do in Germany. And we know this from our WISAL program on women in leadership in Tunisia, that there's a lot of highly skilled potential in IT and MINT. So just a small comment from my side. I would like now to switch over to the company Marquardt, which also has a success story to tell, of course. Mr. Noureddin Yacoubi is General Manager, and please, Mr. Yacoubi, we are very much interested in your presentation.
So, hello, guten Tag zusammen. Hello, everyone. Mr. Balir, thank you for the invitation. And so it's a pleasure for me to present you our success story from Marquardt. Next page, please. So what are we doing on what our production in our products for Marquardt? So for automotive, we have drive authorization systems, electronic keys, start-stop systems, electronic steering locks, door handle sensors, keyless antennas. We have operating components such as gear shift, seat door on the roof, light, infotainment, steering wheel. And we have also the other business, the battery management system, mainly for e-cars. These are our applications, our products for automotive. Next page, please. We have also non-automotive products. It makes about 15% of our business, of Marquardt business. So the switch and sensors systems for different applications. So we have home and industry. We have switch sensors systems for truck off-road. We have switch application. We are operating components, drive authorization systems, power tool, AC switches, DC switches with battery management. We have also for e-mobility business, we are producing HMI modules, battery packs on motors, and central control units. Many products are produced in Tunis. So the main customer from MAT, from Akbar, Tunisia, is an automotive with Mercedes, with Daimler Chrysler, we have Scania, Volvo, PSA, Renault. From automotive, we have Black & Decker, Bosch Siemens, Hilti, Makita, Riviera. Our customers are in Europe, mainly in Europe, but we do have customers in China and also in US, such as Black & Decker, for example. The history of Magba Tunisia, we started our production in 1991. And in 2002, we decided to increase the know-how, or to enhance the know-how of the competency in our plant. So in 2009, we implement the material requirement planning and the sales logistic. And in 2011, this is a revolution, let's say, year, we decided to invest in Tunisia. And in 2011, 2013, we built our own factory in Tunis with 25,000 square meters. It was awarded. We had the national award for the most expanding investment for the year 2013 in Tunisia, because it was really the commitment for Tunisian after the revolution. 2015, we implemented the development, product development process. So project management, product design, quality planning, and also the implementation of equipment and industrialization. 2016, building an extension 2,000 square meter, where we implemented our own certified training center. As we had two pillars here, where dual training system for technicians implemented in collaboration with the Centre de Formation Sectorielle ASUS. And we have a training for workers, so we have certification. They have certification as qualified workers for electronic manufacturing. In 2016, we had a national order of merit for the commitment in favor of the Tunisian economy from the Tunisian president, Khaïd Essebsi. 2018, the acquisition of new land in Al Aqba. So 40,000 square meters to build a second plant in Tunisia in 2023. And now we have an extension of 3,000 square meters ongoing. This is a project which is approved by the Tunisian government as a project d'intérêt national. We have an investment of 20 million euro on the creation of 350 jobs in 22-23. Our staff, we have roughly 1,700 employees. 350 of them are engineers or graduated with university graduated. We have 250 technicians. Experts and top management are exclusively from Tunisia. We are the only one site or the plant from Akbar. We have 10 plants worldwide without any expats. So the management team is 100% Tunisian. 80% of the top management speaks German. And we have high technical skilled technicians and engineers graduated from Tunisian universities. Our production area, we have electronic production. We have five SMT lines, that means one line, we are speaking about 2.5 million euro for each line investment. Molding activities, we have 60 molding machines. And assembly, we have 150 assembly lines. These are the three operations area which we have in our plant. Next page, please. So actually activities. So we have industrialization. We have 60 engineers and technicians, so we are designing, developing, and building production lines for MET, for Magma Tunisia, and also for Magma plants worldwide. So we are producing, manufacturing, and developing high know-how, highly, let's say, equipment for assembly. We have a turnover about 4 to 6 million euro per year equipment that we are manufacturing in Tunisia. A product development activities, 70 engineers on service center for the group. For the worldwide group, we have roughly 20 employees. Regarding our certified training center, as I said before, the training for technicians in collaboration with the training center in Swiss. 30 months training, scholarship during the training period, granted integration in the company. So we have roughly 10 trained and recruited technicians per year. And 2 months training for worker to have qualified workers for electronic manufacturing. Highlights. Regarding the corona crisis, so we have decrease of sales in 2020 due to corona crisis by 25%. The government supported the payment of salary for employees impacted by the general lockdown measure in April. It's not the high numbers, but it's okay for 200 dinar, let's say, I think, for 1 month. Unfortunately, we are obliged, let's say, to reduce the number of employees. We have a reduction of 90 employees in the frame of a social plan. But it's done with the collaboration with the employees in the plant. And the implementation of several measures in the company helped us to keep the number of positive cases to a minimum. We are speaking about 10 cases until now. That's really good. Perspective for Magma Tunisia. So building an extension in 2021 of 3,000 square meters for planned future project, as I said before. The project is approved as Projet d'Intérêt National, and I think I would like to thank the IT and Mr. Balir for the collaboration. So that means that it's grant at the level of 7.66% of the total cost of the project. The deduction of the benefits generated from the extension volume from the tax base for 6 years. There are 6 years exception of employee social security contribution related to the new created jobs. These are some, let's say, the positive aspects of the project. So the growth of automotive business and high tech products for the future as planned. Extension of auxiliary activity, like I said, as I said before, the industrialization, product development, and also the construction of a second plant in 2023 in Al-Abba. This project was planned for 2020, but it's postponed for 2023. Next page. I prepared this page just pro and cons for Tunisia. So pros, high competitiveness in terms of early rate, availability of labor force, multilingual engineer technicians, low production cost in general, electricity, consumable salary, and so on, and the support of the governmental institutions, TIA, API, customs, and so on. And this is our experience and our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yacoubi, for your insights and for mentioning not only the pros but also the cons, because it's also important to know about some improvement opportunities amongst the business, and to give some advice as well that improvement could be done. But I'm aware that the Tunisian government and the German-Tunisian cooperation is already working hard on it. So I would say the glass is always half full. And we're still on time, but I have more interesting stories to share with you. So I would like to open the floor to Mr. Riyad Baktash from IBL. This is a Tunisian company specialized in the field of electronic boards manufacturing in Tunisia and industrial outsourcing and so on. So please give us some insights. I've learned that you have some experience to share about the German market as well, and to give your insights about your success story, how to enter the German market. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for the invitation. I will say I have a different story kind of to say. It's not as typical as the big companies. We are a small company. I will say immediate company. We are about 600 people in the EMS electronic field, specialized electronic boards, wiring, integration, and winding. The German market is 40% of our turnover. We've been in the German market for over 12 years now, especially in the automotive and in the industrial field. What we did is not like our colleagues, it's completely the inverse. We did not come from Germany, but we tried to go to Germany. And this wasn't an easy task at all. Because I would say Germans is a different mindset than the French that we are used to more, and the Italian. It's a completely different story, and you cannot do business with German if you don't know them well and you don't know the way they do business. So at the beginning there was a big challenge, and there was a huge challenge to meet their requirement. It wasn't easy. It was very tough. However, we persisted to meet their requirements. And once you do that, it becomes more and more easy. So you don't want to do business with other countries because you get used to the German mentality, and it becomes easy. So we started with the automotive. We had some consultant also to follow us, and we did all the investment and the resources necessary in order to achieve our goals. With that said, we believe strongly in the German market. We know that the German market is the biggest in Europe. By the way, we deliver almost all over Europe, the big countries, of course, and in the US and in Canada. However, for us, the German market stay the major one. That what we do today is we invest on it. So we opened up a branch, a commercial branch near to Stuttgart, where we are heavily investing in order to expand our market shares over there. I believe these types of meetings or seminars are really good to help companies like us. That I will say the German, they don't see us, they don't see our competencies, not because they don't know us, but simply they don't know that what is behind us. And the opportunity, when you give a Tunisian companies like us, small companies, the opportunity to see there is a big chance for both the German and the Tunisian to succeed on that. So it was, we cannot say that you cannot achieve that. It is hard. You have to follow it. We did it a lot with many visits, many B2B meetings, and Electronica helped us a lot. We were present in every Electronica since 12 years. We never missed anyone, and it turns out to be good. And then the more you go, the more people you meet, and that's the way it happens. So we are looking forward in these meetings to develop more, to have a chance also to show what we can do, in these German companies.
Thank you, Riyad. It's a really interesting story, and yeah, even more sad we couldn't make it to Electronica physically this year, but I'm very sure next time we will be there, and it's encouraging to know that yeah, it's just continuous effort and meet and greet and B2B that can make great things happen for both sides, by the way. So 40% of your market now with German companies, but they also gain a lot, and this is it. We will have to be more curious and to go towards the Tunisian companies like yours. Thank you so much. I am now looking to the president of Elentica, Mr. Walid Benamor, but I couldn't find you in the list. Are you still with us? Mr. President Walid Benamor from Elentica, or another representative of Elentica? Or did we lose you in the meantime, which would be a pity? We will check and the time, because it would have been great that this electronics investment institution would round up our session, but we will maybe start with the Q&A session, and once he is joining again, we can give him the final closure words. And before we do so, I would like just to ask all speakers of today's panel and partners to switch on the videos again, so you are visible, and we can also make a photo to document our today's webinar. And of course, I would also like my dear colleague Asma Hajmabruk, who is currently in Sus to work with us there, usually in Berlin, to switch on her video, because I really want to thank you personally, Asma, for organizing this event for EMA and for the great work we do as a German-Tunisian tandem. So now everyone's ready for a photo, and the participants may already think about possible questions, especially those who have already sent your questions. Have your questions been answered, or do you still have some? Thank you so much. Now okay, I see that there's already some hands up. Please, let's stay disciplined. Present yourself briefly, ask your questions, and we may collect some of them and then make a round of answers. So please, where did I see you? I think Mr. Deka. Go ahead. Hello?
Hello. Yes. I think, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Well, first, I would like to thank all the intervenants for the quality of the presentations they made. I'm Dhakar Amara from PMGI. It's a consultancy firm specialized in performance amelioration. And my question goes to the TIA, Tunisian Investment Authority. And my question is, how much time really does it take effectively to invest in Tunisia in the electronics field? The cycle time speaking. I have a second question, if you may.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. My second question is for the industrials and for Mr. Yaqoubi and Mr. Riyad Baktash. It's about securing the supply chain management after the COVID crisis. And what are the actions that they have been taken to secure the supply chain management? This is my second question, and thanks.
Okay, do we have more questions? I see no hand risen, but maybe you switch just on your video and your mic, or your mic, and you ask your question.
Okay.
Any more volunteers? Otherwise, Belir, you may already answer the first question.
Thank you, Clara. Well, how much it takes, to set up a company. So it depends on a set of criteria, of course. So it may range from couple of weeks to 6 months. So it depends on the readiness of the company. From our side, with respect, to the legal incorporation procedures, it's very swift. So as I said, we have invested a lot in terms of digitalization. So the e-registration can be done within 15, 30 minutes. But we have to check if everything is okay. So sometimes it takes a couple of weeks to get the right document in place. Sometimes it takes only half a day. So again, it's up to the company. From our side, we are ready. So again, e-registration is possible within 1 day. Legal incorporation as well, 1 day. If they have already identified the right plot of land, so it can be very, very quickly. We can help as well for the construction permit within TIA, all the necessary paperwork behind. So we deal with all the details. But again, it depends on the company. So it may range from 1 month to 6 months, I would say.
Thank you. Does anyone want to add something? Otherwise, I have written 2 questions we have received before into the chat, and I think it could be interesting to shed some more light. I will quickly present them to all of you. Is there any legal impact of EU regulations regarding intellectual property and data protection on the export of electronic and digital projects made in Tunisia? And the second one, is Tunisia's electronic industry part of a regional or global value chain? If so, who is the main value driver in this chain?
So question 1, I'd say this is for me, I guess.
If you feel addressed, please.
Okay, thank you, Clara. So I'd say that there is no real impact, with respect to these regulations. As Tunisia is part of the European Council Agreement 108, relating to the protection of personal data. So the country acceded, as a non-permanent member of the European Council, to this convention. In 2019, I guess, Tunisia also signed the Protocol 108 plus, which is with respect to the amendment to the convention on the protection of individuals with regard to automatic processing of personal data. So by adhering, I'd say, to this convention, Tunisia, like all other member states, undertakes, to protect and respect the freedoms and rights of individuals, and to balance between the new applications of communication technologies and the absolute respect for privacy, which is at the end of the day a human right. Over to you, Clara.
Yes, I just got a reminder, and I would like also to open the floor to our companies present here about also the supply chain management after COVID crisis, or during, because we're in the middle of it actually. I would like to say after. So do you have anything to share on this specifically? Supply chain management during and after COVID.
Okay, I can add something to add. Jacobi speaking. So for us, regarding transportation between, let's say, Germany and Tunisia, and Tunisia, Germany to Spain, also we do have a customer in Spain. We didn't have any negative impact. Regarding the employees, we do have 40 material requirement planning and sales planning employees, and we introduced the home office. We do it also now, we don't interrupt it. So really there is no negative impact in this linguistic. That's our experience, let's say.
Okay, I can share my information. Mr. Jacobi, it's not the same what you said. So we produce just in time for our automobile customer in Germany, for example, and we produce just in time. That means means we use every day the ferry between Rades or Tunis and Genova, for example. And it's not a question of this or problem of this COVID crisis or COVID pandemic. We have it in all the time. So that the ferries between Tunis and Geneva have a delay for 1 day, between 6 hours and 1 day, and 30% of all the ferries in the last 12 months are in delay. And we are permanent in focus of our customer. In Germany, what's going on, and we have to deliver, and what we are doing with the Tunisian logistics, and so there's no solution in my opinion. In this COVID crisis, it's not better. Hello?
Clara, you can unmute yourself. You're on mute.
I'm a little bit confused. Is it another question or just? No.
You talk with me, or I can?
I thought somebody from the audience said hello, but.
Okay.
Okay. We are still having 3 minutes left, and we like to stick to our schedule so that our dear participants would like to come back next time and feel inspired. And we are always there, TIA, EMA, and all the partners. FIPA, AHK, Elentica will for sure also be sending us some presentations and more materials so we can share it in the aftermath. But it is our honor to have Her Excellency, the designate ambassador, with us. So please allow me, Your Excellency, to give you the final words of today's online seminar, and to thank all partners and participants for being with us and for working together on German-Tunisian economic cooperation. Please stay in touch.
Thank you, Clara. So if you allow me to call you Clara without protocols. So thank you again for this virtual meeting, and actually it underscores the real opportunities to invest in this strategic sector of electronics industry. Intervention mentioned there's really a place for everyone to invest and to extend, so don't hesitate to come to invest in Tunisia, and I still at your disposal for any future cooperation, and I'm looking forward also to hear from you your suggestion and proposal to further enhance the Tunisian-German partnership. And once again, thank you so much, and see you in the near future. Inshallah.
Stay healthy, stay safe, and have a good day.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.